Go there now. Go there now. Go there now.
The views expressed by callers, co-hosts, or anyone else who happens to get on the air at Ocelli.com do not necessarily reflect the views of Ocelli.com or Chuck Ocelli, and we are not responsible for any stupidity which might ensue. Thank you.
Okay.
Morning. This is emergency broadcast. Code red, here we are. Pick up your iPads, your cell phones, and have me and listen to Uncle the broadcast. Watch out. If you're sitting down for this, or if you're standing up, you better get ready for this, because it's gonna hit the eardrums. Uncle the broadcast.
You are listening to Uncle the Broadcast. My name's Aaron. I'm the nephew-in-law. Here with me is the star of the show, Uncle.
It is Comedy Hour, people. 314th episode. This is the Comedy Hour. No business to his business.
Show business, Uncle.
Not your business is out. This hour.
It's out.
I know.
All right, guest number one. Let's see who this guest is. I've been trying to figure it out who it was.
We do have a guest this week,
I'm asking the guest man. You calm down.
Okay.
Slide kick.
Uncle, your mission is to ask the guest.
Ask the guest. What am I asking?
I don't know. You seemed so sure of it a second ago. Why don't you just ask him that?
I was trying to say who's on the line and who's our guest for tonight. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay. All right.
Hello?
I'm here. My name is Bill Viereck. I'm the owner and builder of the Mini 905 Art Car, which has a 9-foot space shuttle on top.
What do you think of that, Uncle? This is a guy who has a Mini Cooper as his car.
I'm really confused.
And on top of his car is a miniature space shuttle.
Miniature space shuttle. Wait, I've seen pictures on social media of this thing. I know I have. With this top of the car. Yeah.
You know, we're watching these videos. We're watching these videos, and the one was making cars.
We did
we
watch.
We watched one of those like that.
Yep.
And I was wondering if you knew anything about that kind of thing. Hello, guest?
About making cars?
Yeah.
Making art cars, or just making like assembly line vehicle production?
Well, they had a production of the cars to be built,
and there was a kid. It was like kids looking at him.
You're talking about making special cars, Uncle, right? Like this one with the space shuttle on it. How much does he know about making custom cars? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's it. Customer cars.
Yeah. So Houston has a huge art car movement. And while I've been to art car events all over the country in my first art car and then also this current one, Houston is the largest. Houston has about 280 entries each year. So it's a really big parade of really eclectic cars, all embellished way beyond the mundane. And it attracts 300,000 spectators every year. It's huge.
Okay. Well, Bill, the good news, I'm showing Uncle the pictures of your car right now. So do you see this, Uncle?
Okay. Yeah, I do now.
See that? It's a Mini Cooper Clubman. And on the roof is, look, it's a, now is that a scale version of a space shuttle, Bill?
It's pretty accurate. It's about 1/12, 1/13 scale. And, as a kid, I built plastic model kits. I built every different space shuttle model that was out there. This is just a little bit bigger.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah,
and a little bit as construction. Because it's outdoors in the elements all the time. Believe it or not, it won't fit in the garage.
It won't, because you had that thing on the top and it doesn't fit the top because it don't have the room, right?
Too tall, right?
Too tall. That's what I meant.
It's 9 feet tall. It won't go through a car wash. It won't fit in the garage.
Oh, man, that means you can't wash it either.
It's a hand wash. Yeah, it's got to be done by hand. And it takes 2 hours because it's like washing 2 cars.
Oh, sure. Got it.
Whoa.
Nice. Uncle, what do you think of this? What do you think that Bill has gotten himself into? You think this is a great thing, or you think like is he making too much work for himself having to wash such a car, or is this
making an interesting thing in something?
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, and maybe in the future, maybe if you decide to want to do something like this, make it for the people like these electric cars.
Oh, go the assembly line route. Like start mass producing these things.
That's what I was asking him. Yeah.
So I actually make interesting. I live in Clear Lake, south of Houston, which is right where Johnson Space Center is, the Manned Space Center, Manned Flight Space Center. So I meet a lot of interesting astronauts and engineers, and usually their family members. They want to tell me all about their involvement in the space shuttle program because they all worked on it. And so I meet a lot of interesting people, but I hand out a lot of postcards, a lot of stickers to kids. I do, I've done parades, I've done car shows. I was at the Wings Over Houston Air Show 2 weekends ago, and I did a little fall festival yesterday. I like to tell people, I'll do weddings, I'll do bar mitzvahs if you want me to.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe our friend Crazy Accidents met Bill at the air show. He just mentioned that.
You have met?
I think you met a listener of ours.
Friend of ours.
Yes.
He never talks on the phone, but he talks.
His name is Ilian, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
that's the right guy. Yeah.
We got a referral, so we're glad to have that. And yeah, so an air show. I mean, it makes sense at an air show. It's got the space shuttle is air and space, right? So
it also sounds like it also has air. You know how we have air shows every couple of years on airplanes? Yeah. It'd be something like that.
It's exactly like that.
Yep. It's actually like that.
Exactly. It's exactly like that. And it takes Ellington Air Force Base, where the space shuttle, when it was being ferried from California back to Florida.
Right.
If it had to leave California, they had to get the shuttle back to Florida. It would land in Houston and refuel at Ellington Air Force Base, where this air show took place.
Right.
So it was a familiar sight for everyone there.
Got it. Local legend, no less.
You know how when they take off with the rocket, right?
Oh yeah.
It starts in Florida, it goes to California, then they refuse, it goes back to Florida to get another one show up.
I think so.
That's how it's like a U.
Oh, it goes
if
a
you
U-shape.
notice, like a U shape.
It goes up. It goes to the upward part of the atmosphere. It turns back around.
And comes down to
Comes back down
to our side.
making a U shape.
U shape. That's how it works, isn't it?
That's not exactly right.
No. Well, that's how they work. It's the space shuttle people.
Sometimes it seems that way.
That's how the space shuttles work.
Okay, so I put a picture of the Mini Cooper with the shuttle on top of it in the chat room at Ocelli.com for people to see. In case you're not able to visualize it out there, this way you can take a look at it. You click on it, and you can see it. Yeah, it's got the blue stripe on the side. What is on that blue stripe there, Bill?
Okay, that's the cheat stripe. The car is actually emulating the 747 that ferried the shuttles back from California.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking
the
about.
The actual jet, the 747 that ferried shuttles, is at Space Center Houston, which is the visitor center for Johnson Space Center here in Houston. So that is on display with a shuttle on top of it, and I've got some really nice pictures on the website of the car in that plaza. And so yeah, the car looks exactly like it, except it's a Mini Cooper.
Got it. That's the blue line. It looks like the jet. That's cool.
Yeah, right.
I like it. True art car. It's a replica. So this falls into, I guess, if you're to categorize art cars, this would be like a replica of sorts. Like it's a modified replica of the jet carrying the shuttle. Is that right?
Right. I think most art would agree. We don't like to be categorized. Everything's pretty expected.
So I'm putting a picture of the actual plane in the chat room at Ocelli.com for people to follow along. A picture of the plane that this is emulating. And what is your website? Because you said you have the stuff up on your website. What's the web address?
Yeah, the website actually goes through the entire build, and it also gives a brief history of my first art car, which was the entire car was a space shuttle. It was the shuttle van. It had a 1,700-watt fog machine, and I toured all over the country in that about 10 years ago. 15 years ago. So it is homemadespaceshuttle.org.
Oh wow! I'm going there right now. Homemade space. Oh yeah. Here it goes. It's popping up. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, cool. Look at this. Comprehensive.
When you're on that homepage, you can click through any of those chapters, but the build goes through the building of that the space shuttle that's currently on my car on every step of the process, every mistake I made. Starting from cocktail napkin sketch, which is where every good idea comes from, all the way through putting it on it was originally on a Mini Countryman that was kind of that rust color. So the car was the external tank of a launch stack, and that's how it rolled at its first parade. And I since replaced that Countryman with a 300 horsepower Clubman, which is terrifying, and then turned it into the plane instead.
Got it. Yeah, and I am looking at the old van that you had that looked like the shuttle. That's cool. I'm definitely into that. It looks like it's a lot of fun. What? There's like smoke coming out of it? What is that?
I had a 1,700-watt fog machine built into it with big old boat batteries inside. People hated being behind in parades because I make their car disappear.
With the smoke, of course.
It would fill a tennis court chest deep in a minute.
Wow.
So it put out a lot of fog. 1,700-watt fog machine is like 6 times bigger than what DJs use in a club. So anyway, and outdoors it really has a really different effect. But that I drove that around. I put 50,000 miles on it as an art car, but it was a Chrysler product. It's no longer living.
Okay. Yeah, got it. And I will apologize for earlier, Bill. You said that art car enthusiasts don't want to be categorized. I'd say that you're in good company because same thing with this podcast. I think some people tend to categorize podcasts, but good luck if you want to categorize Uncle the podcast, because I don't think. Good luck. That's all I gotta tell you. So
Yeah,
it's
I pitch the thing, and I gotta tell you all the time. People go, "What is Uncle?" And I go, "Well, I can't explain it. You produce it. How long you been producing it? 6, 7 years. You can't explain it. Nope.
Well,
you got to hear it for yourself."
we'll just call it an art car.
All I do is have a comedy show. Whoever wanted to speak with comedy on it, and I'm plain, I'm simple, and let them speak it, and I'll listen.
That's a good point.
That's mine.
Okay.
I understand, but if I say that, they want more. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill. What do you think?
What are you saying, Bill?
God's sake, don't box me in.
There you go.
I like it. I like that credo there, Bill. So yeah, that's cool. Would you agree with that, Uncle? Do you feel that way? Do you feel that way?
I wanted the person, I guess, online, they have a speaker to speak. It's a world country. Well, to speak, they're on my show. All we have to do is say, you want to speak, and he talks.
We're real First Amendment enthusiasts, you might say.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's what we are.
I was trying to figure out the word.
Bill, the ball's in your court. First Amendment here. What do you got for us?
Yeah.
How do you want to use it? How do you choose to use it?
How do you choose to use it? The right words. Wow, he's finally learning words right.
I'm a firm believer in free speech, and I'm also a firm believer in do no harm.
There we go. Uncle, we're getting philosophical with our guests tonight.
I know. If you don't mind a moment, guest, Bill, I have to get Jimmy back on the line.
Oh, yeah, we do have a caller.
I know. I remember Jimmy up there.
Uncle, I forgot.
I didn't. You had this conversation, and when I get into a guest, I lose control. And he's a good guest. So, Jimmy, just a moment. Jimmy, speak up now.
I thought you were saying that guests were a rarity.
Yeah, they are. Because I let them take over the show.
Yeah, we have to.
I tackle them, but I let them talk. And then I forget sometimes on the other line, there's another line waiting.
We do have a call line.
We have a call liner. And Jimmy's on that.
Yeah, and anybody else could call in.
And anyone else can call in at the number is speak.
It's 319-527-5016. Join us. Our guest Bill here. He is an art car creator. He's created a space shuttle art car. If you have a question for him, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Right now we have a caller. We think it's Jimmy. We're going to go to him right now.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the line.
You're online. Didn't forget you, Jim.
We did not.
Oh, Uncle, you got to do something about those Rams. They went and lost to the Cowgirls.
Cowgirls. Oh, no, here he goes. Listen here. I was in a separate pool. Things to straighten out sidekick here. How to pick the team properly.
I learned a lot.
But his wife gets in my way. I'm trying to get it straight. Of course, though, if he would have took Denver today, we wouldn't have this Monday night numbers check. He would have completely won it.
The short version of the story is I should have listened to you, Uncle. I didn't.
That's what my point I'm trying to tell you. So don't listen to your wife.
Don't.
With the
I don't know if I have a choice, Uncle.
You have a choice and listen to me saying who to pick. So when everybody picks a team, go the opposite way.
That's the rule.
That's the rule to win it.
Antinomian
about it. Who won? Did you see who won it though? Didn't you see who won it?
I did.
Took those Chiefs right out of it.
Well, I can't argue with you, Uncle.
That's what my point is.
Jimmy, do you have a question for Bill? Who's created
you have
a space shuttle car.
You have a question for Bill.
Got the pictures of the shuttle on top of the car.
Yeah,
so pretty cool. I put it in the chat room, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Oh, wait, there's a picture?
Yeah, there's a picture up there.
But actually, my question is just, are you knowledgeable about the actual space shuttles?
Yeah, I really am, because I've done a lot of research and I'm a NASA geek anyway. People always ask me if I work at NASA, and I say, no, I'm just a fan, but I've done an awful lot of, so I end up talking to people a lot. Like I was saying before, I meet a lot of astronauts and engineers that tell me about what they did on the shuttles. But yeah, I've got a pretty good, like layman's knowledge of the operation of the shuttle. I've got the full spec sheets on it. I'm kind of a nerd.
Uh-oh. Got a nerd on the show.
Well, that's cool. That's good.
Did you have a question specific to shuttles?
Well, it's more of an Apollo question. Everyone's always you've heard these moon deniers that we never went to the moon, blah blah blah, and they bring up rocket power, but they don't understand how NASA utilized our atmosphere to sling the damn thing.
Do you know about that, Bill? The sling factor of Earth's atmosphere, which actually was at play for the moon, the Apollo moon mission. I'm right. Am I getting this right?
They launched out of the atmosphere. Yeah.
The atmosphere was utilized on the return trip just to decelerate in the same way shuttles decelerated, because when things are coming back, especially all the way from the moon, they're coming back at a pretty fair clip. So they use the atmosphere to slow it down just by friction alone. But because of that, you have to have a hell of a heat shield. Otherwise, you're just going to cook your crew and any of your samples that you're bringing back. The slingshot effect was what they used to get around the moon to get back to Earth. But you really don't have much of a slingshot effect through the atmosphere because it's dense. It's denser than empty space. So in empty space, you're when they talk about slingshot effect, they're talking about gravitational tug. So you'd fall into an orbit and then slingshot around a body like the moon. Or when we did the Voyager probes back in the 70s, they slingshotted around Jupiter and then Saturn to throw them out to the further planets. And it was really remarkable that they were able to do that, because that was a perfect alignment at that point in time of the outer planets for them to slingshot around each of them. And, Voyager is still sending us messages back from 1.3 trillion miles away or something.
Yeah. It takes a while to relay that sort of kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm learning a lot. How about you, Uncle?
I'm learning a lot of bit when I'm talking.
Just
listening and taking in from what he's talking about. See, what I do with my guests, I let them take the show, and I listen.
Yeah.
That's how you do it with guests. You learn something, sidekick?
Maybe.
When you get a guest on your show,
okay,
you let them talk, and then you learn something.
Oh, wow! It's that easy?
And then
Isn't that the way to
comedy? You let your guests step all over their own words, and then everyone can laugh at them.
Well, yeah, you could if they wanted to.
If you wanted
It's a comedy, because it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
Yours is a serious problem.
Right. Look,
His show.
I do have serious problems.
Yeah, I
right,
know.
Uncle?
With that show you have.
Hey, no show. Hey, even if he doesn't have a show, he's got serious problems over there. But
What kind of problem?
but we don't have that much time, Uncle. Let me get to this question I got.
What do you mean? We're going quick? That's good.
No, we want to list all his problems. We're going to be here all night. Bill's not going to get a chance to talk, right?
Oh, yeah. That's why he's talking.
Right.
So I'm not saying anything.
So here's the question I wanted to give a chance for Bill to talk about this, because I think it'll be very cool. Now, it's not comedy, but what gave you the idea to do this? Like, where is the beginning of this idea? Like, what possessed you to decide? Because there's a lot of things you could have done artistically, a lot of different things you could have done with the car. Why this exactly? Why did you choose to do this?
Well, I'll tell you, initially when I had that minivan, I was looking at it and I knew I was going to make an art car out of it. But at the time, this would have been, say, 2006, 2007. At the time, if you, and I'm a space geek, but if you did anything related to Star Wars or Star Trek, you were going to have Lucasfilm or Paramount coming after you for infringement. So I didn't touch anything like that.
You mean
now
after them?
No, they're going to come after you. So the thing is, the space shuttle, I kept looking at it, and the profile of that minivan of a Dodge Caravan looked like the nose of the space shuttle. And as far as I'm concerned, the space shuttle, we all paid for it. It's public domain. So, and I've always been a fan of NASA and the space program. So it was a tribute at that point. I was, hey, what's easier than painting it black and white?
Well, NASA, because NASA won't go after you for copyright unless you try to use their films or their photographs directly in something else that you're releasing. Like if you're doing a documentary and you have their permission. But if you do something inspired by their design and it's not specific, like it's not made to look like one of the, like you can't go out and make space shuttle toys. They'll give you a problem. But if you're creating an artistic piece like this and it's clearly inspired by, but not a direct copy of, then you're okay, right? Because it's funny, the first space shuttle that I remember was called Enterprise. The reason why it was called Enterprise is because it was inspired by Star Trek, right? To name it that way, that I understood. There's also lots of other historical reasons to name a ship Enterprise. But besides that, it was named Enterprise. Now yours is called Kobayashi Maru, which I mean, listen, I'm a Trek guy. I know I don't sound like it, but I'm a Trek guy. Anyways, you gotta be
a double geek to get the Kobayashi Maru reference.
Well, see, I'm a triple geek. I even played Magic the Gathering, and I used to play the card game for Star Trek and everything. The whole bit. The only series I haven't watched so far is Prodigy. Anyways, all the rest of them, I'm all caught up. I've seen them all multiple times, and I've seen all the movies, loved it, went to the theaters, you name it. Okay. Anyways, I'm a Trek guy. So Kobayashi Maru, I know what that is, and I think it's hilarious because it's, for people who don't know, if you're not a geek, the Kobayashi Maru is the no-win scenario test that they give to cadets at Starfleet Academy while they're in command of a ship in a simulation to see how they react to a no-win situation. And this is what he puts on the side of the space shuttle instead of Enterprise, which, by the way, they had people from Star Trek go to some of those initial launches when they were still doing this thing of putting the plane up with the shuttle on the back of it, which is the way this started out. Early flights. You can find film of it out there. I think in, I want to say 78. Maybe it was somewhere in there. I know it was when I was a little kid. The entire
cast of the original series came out to see Enterprise, and except for Shatner, for some reason Shatner didn't show up, but everyone else was there to see it off. And it's an interesting note. The pilot that flew the Enterprise off of the top of the 747 for the first time was Fred Hayes, who was also an astronaut on Apollo 13. He's his character was played by Bill Paxton in the movie, and Fred Hayes saw my car at Space Center Houston and had his picture taken with it and posted it on Facebook himself. And that was like my drop mic moment because he's my favorite astronaut. And he was getting the shuttle off the back of the jet was his big project. And he was the lead pilot astronaut on that. It was really cool.
Right. No, it's just great backstory. It's just, go ahead.
So the Kobayashi Maru name on the shuttle, interesting story behind that. I was planning to change the name because I was refinishing it. It occasionally needs to be refinished because it's in the elements all the time. But I was at Space Center Houston, and I ran into a very green, very brand new flight controller who just started her job at Mission Control. And she said, "Oh, it's the Kobayashi Maru. That's awesome. We use that term in Mission Control all the time." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Oh, yeah, it's a no-win scenario. So every time we run a simulation, we're trying to push it to the point of breaking. So it's always a no-win scenario. So we go, oh, we're going to run a Kobayashi Maru." I was like, well, it's got to stay. If Mission Control uses it, it's a given term. The name sticks.
Right, a literal instance of art actually inspiring science and science inspiring art in return.
Exactly.
Levels.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of it. That's great. No, I wanted to get at that story. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense
go.
that the NASA folk would be into Star Trek and science fiction, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
Yeah. Geekdom kind of spreads in all directions. I mean, we touch it all.
What do you think, Uncle? You remember Star Trek? You got fond memories of that?
Star Trek, yeah. Oh, the man with the ears. Everybody come with the one with the ears.
Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock.
That's him.
That was the guy they always looked down to.
He could touch you in a certain spot and knock you out.
Yeah.
Look at him.
They had to laugh at him every time I see the ears.
Yeah,
Don't worry, then.
the Vulcan, right?
Vulcans, yeah.
Planet Vulcan,
Planet
the
Vulcan.
Vulcan race, is it?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I love the fact on that show. People originally, when again before Aaron and I were even thoughts in people's minds, but Uncle, you were alive when they first put out the production stills for Star Trek, right?
yeah.
The guy editing the film turned around and snipped the tops of Spock's ears off. He thought he was correcting the photograph. Several.
Burned his ears. And he said, "You're not supposed to burn my ears, please."
Because he's getting in makeup to put ears on. They take a picture. The guy taking the picture is developing it, and he's changing it to get rid of the points on his ears.
Right.
And it's like 3-4 times they kept sending the pictures back. So it's just really funny that when they was trying to promote that show, they couldn't even get people used to the idea of somebody might have pointed ears.
Yeah.
Well, they also had a problem with broadcasting with affiliates in the South, where they thought that the Spock's appearance was that of the devil, and they weren't going to show the series.
They thought because he was on a black and white television that he might come off as more of a satanic-looking character, which is why they actually adjusted his skin tone.
It may have been the pointed ears, or it could have just been those silly bangs.
Well, they adjusted his skin tone in the original show Bible, all right, which is what they called the thing where you build out the universe. In the original show Bible, he had red skin. And the problem was on black and white TVs, that would appear very dark, and he would definitely appear demonic if he was very dark with pointed ears. So they said, nope, can't do that. And that's how he ended up with that mustard color, that change that they did, which, that on black and white and color TVs, his tone would be odd, but it wouldn't be dark and malevolent looking. So that was the thing. They were afraid that he was going to look satanic because of the pointed ears and the dark skin. Yep. That's a true story. But anyways, a lot of weird stuff went on with trying to just even get that show out. It's remarkable 60 years later.
The hero of getting it out was Lucille Ball.
Yep.
She had controlling interest in Desilu, and she stood behind it and kept the series on.
Desilu Studios. She fought for a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that things were included, that they were going to get rid of because they thought people were going to be offended in the South, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. In fact, that's true. Lucille Ball is one of the people who made sure that Star Trek wound up being what it was, and it wasn't, taken down by the powers that be that wanted to edit it. So, yep, that's absolutely true too. Desilu Studios, long forgotten but important in television history. Right?
You know about that? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You knew I Love Lucy was part of...
yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, this is new to me.
Yeah.
I'm a youngin'.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Like I said, triple geek over here, Aaron. You got to remember, I'm like triple geek.
Yeah, he's triple geek over there.
Gotcha.
How's Jimmy think about all this?
What do you say, Jimmy?
Well,
turning
it around in my head.
Well, we're discussing this stuff, and I was just wondering what you thought about it.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the development of Star Trek? Did you know about Lucille Ball playing an integral role in it? Stuff like that, Jim.
Yeah.
I didn't know about her being involved so much with Star Trek, but I do know that she was the first person to give Arnold Schwarzenegger an acting part on one of her later sitcoms.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
I didn't know
See,
that one.
learn something every caller you go to, Uncle. You learn something.
That one I didn't know. Jimmy got one that I didn't know.
Oh, really? That was
He grabbed me on that.
Oh, Uncle, crazy accents is telling me we need to ask Bill why. What's the question? Why is it Mini 905? Why is that, Bill?
Why is that, Bill? Hold on.
That's a good question.
That's
So
what
the
he's asking.
905 aircraft designation of the original 747 ferry carrier jet. So it's the NA 905. That's NASA's aircraft designation number for it, which your friend that we met at the air show is just all googly that we were able to, because he identifies planes by their registration numbers. That was the 905. It's the jet that sits in front of Space Center Houston. So mine is the Mini 905.
Nice. Okay.
It's a little obscure. It's a little obscure, but when people have to ask you, it gives you an opportunity to tell them a story.
Got it. Mini
So
905.
So throughout this piece of art, what you're saying is there are minor homages to all sorts of real world things that are represented within the piece.
Indeed.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well,
If you look, you're looking at some of the photos on the side of the car. There's actually tiny little mission stamps right by the rear view mirrors, and those are on the actual jet. On the jet, it's each of the different shuttles that it ferried. So it has all 6, including Enterprise, and then it has another like a stealth drone that they ferried. But just like in World War II, you would have kill stamps for every plane you shot down. Right. The 747 has mission stamps for each of the shuttles that it ferried back from California or wherever else in the country. And so I have 4 little stamps. One is the very front one is the shuttle van, the original art car, and then 3 different renditions of this current art car.
Interesting. Okay, I see how. Uncle, you know what that reminds me of? So stickers they put on the football helmets. That's a similar thing. You get I don't know why they put them on the football helmets.
the things they put on. Sometimes they put on the things on the football helmets.
Yeah, what's that?
That's if somebody's missed or somebody passes.
That's what that is? Okay.
That's what that's for.
Okay. Is that akin, Bill? Would you say that's similar?
Would that be like similar?
Yeah, those are usually tributes, almost like a black sash on your arm for a fallen comrade.
Yeah,
on football helmet. It usually, especially in college football and high school football, they'll put a sticker for every tackle you get or every touchdown you score.
They do.
So the really good jocks have their helmets all covered in stickers because they've been kicking ass all year.
I know one that's a very good one. You want to understand? Ohio State has these stars.
The Buckeye
and I
leaf,
was trying to understand what the heck is the star mean on their helmets to have something like that.
It looks like they just got back from the smoke shop.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like. That's what I'm thinking.
That's not what it is. It's a Buckeye leaf is what that is. But yeah, that's definitely the helmet that comes to mind for me.
Because you were in there, you were in that state, and I was thinking about that sidekick.
Yeah,
what would you think about?
I think about that.
About that with the helmet.
Yeah, but similar. I mean, I feel like, you could equate this also to like just stars that kids get from their teacher. Like, I feel like these little badges and stickers and like little mementos that we put on things. I don't know what that even is, but it's something that we definitely like to do, and it's something that definitely there's a certain satisfaction. It's like, oh yeah, I did this. I want to commemorate it by, even if it's just like, putting a mark on be it a space shuttle, a football helmet, a kid's folder or whatever. It's all the same thing. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Or notches on heel of your pistol because you're a gunfighter.
Yeah, when I played Pop Warner football, we used to get a skull and crossbones on our helmets for every sack. So yeah.
Yeah. There's something to it. I don't know exactly what, but we definitely like to do it as a species.
Well, it's like notches. It's like this, you keep a notch on your gun. You keep a notch on your, well, some people put it on their headboard. You know what I mean? You put notches on things. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Gangs of New York? The one Irish guy, he's got a notch on his shillelagh for every guy he bashed his head in. I don't remember the character, the actor's name or whatever, but Bill the Butcher comes and bashes his head in with it, and he puts another notch right on the shield.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Or like on Time Cop when that lieutenant used to keep ears from all the Vietnamese he'd kill. And he made a necklace.
Yeah.
Little mementos.
I didn't see Time Cop. Okay, same kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, it is the same thing.
It's the kind of serial killer version of that. Yeah, going that way. And
serial killers do keep trophies. That's another thing. But yeah,
that's all sorts of ways that these things work themselves out. But Uncle, nobody's categorizing a thing here. I know that much.
I know. Just gotta this tonight to me was very interesting. I think we've learned, everybody here on this talk table have learned something from our guest.
I think so. Yeah,
even Jimmy did.
I know so. It's an absolute.
I mean, this was very good. Now, these are what I'm liking.
Guests
to have.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we get things out of it. You see what I mean?
It's
rewarding.
That's
the word.
It's rewarding for us, rewarding for the audience.
Yeah.
Bill.
Oh,
is this rewarding at all being here, or are you sorry you came? You're allowed to be perfectly honest.
I'm enjoying this. This is what I end up doing at art car events, at air shows, at wherever I show up, or even at the grocery store parking lot. I end up talking about the art car, I usually end up hearing from other people a lot of their experience, their contribution to the space program, which is always, I find that rewarding as well because, people that, especially in this area, the Clear Lake area all built up around NASA when it in the 60s. So, everybody has some touch or connection in some way, shape, or form, which is why the car is so popular in my.
What?
I have a question for you, Bill. On that notion, would you agree that LBJ wasn't popular at all in Texas until the space program picked up into the late 60s?
LBJ kept getting elected from Texas before he became vice president, but he was pretty unpopular at the time. They named the Johnson Space Center after him because he was instrumental in getting NASA in Houston. The first word spoken from the moon was Houston. So, there's some, I think after he chose not to run for election and retired to the LBJ Ranch outside of Austin, people kind of just, he was just that, he wasn't quite the statesman you might expect from a retired president, but I think people kind of still had, LBJ was kind of a legend, whether you like it or not. He still carried some cachet in that sense.
Yeah, there we go. So,
yeah, that's interesting. Would you say that kind of like the way Louisianians look at Huey Long, just kind of like one of a kind guy?
Well, he was such a mainstay in Louisiana politics for so long. It'd be kind of hard to ignore him if you're talking about Louisiana history, right? There's just too much Huey Long to talk about.
A long list of things from Huey Long, to be sure. And there you have it.
Hey, Bill, do you think when would be the next launch of the astronauts would be the next one to go to the moon? Have any idea?
Artemis 2 is scheduled for, they keep saying 2024. Now, the thing is, the whole Artemis program has been just fraught with delays because it was originally the conservation program, and that was it was back during Obama. And when Obama canceled that program, but NASA kept it on the burner, and they kept putting it together as Artemis. So Artemis 2 is going to be the first crewed mission to the moon, and they will do the same figure eight loop that Artemis 1 did. Artemis 1 tested all the systems. Artemis 2 will fly four astronauts out to the moon. They'll do a short orbit around the moon and then fling themselves further out beyond the moon, about 40,000 miles, and then come back to the moon and then come back to Earth. They've scheduled that tentatively for 2024. That rocket is going through all the steps of completion, and because I kind of watch the progress as it goes, whether it's going to happen in 2024 is a crapshoot because there's always an excuse to delay somewhere. And it makes more sense to delay than to offer opportunity for disaster. But as far as them setting foot on the moon, you're probably looking at 26 or 27. Because in order to go to actually land on the moon, the plan is to have a space station in lunar orbit, and we don't even have that up and running yet. So they're going to have to launch a space station that will get to lunar orbit before the astronauts ever get there, and that's going to serve as a way station where they go from Earth to lunar orbit, go to that space station, and then go down to the moon, come back, go down to the moon, come back. So they'll have the opportunity, rather than land for a couple of days, then leave and go back to Earth, they'll have the opportunity to go to a space station and hang out and then go down to the moon, come back, and make several trips down and back, and then come back to Earth. So it's kind of a different than the Apollo era, but with all those moving parts going on, you're probably looking a couple more years down the road.
What do you think, Uncle? Does that answer the old question?
Yeah. Well, you still got some good answers. I didn't get good answers when you have a guest like him.
That's right. That's right. I know that Crazy Accidents got a patch from Bill. I'm going to show that on the live stream videos. Here it is. It says Kobayashi Maru Mini. Is it 305 Clear Lake City? So I see the patch. It's so that's your car. That's a nice patch, Bill. That's a nice piece,
isn't it? It's a car.
Yeah, that's the car.
The V car.
The art car.
Yeah. That's on the patch.
How'd you get those made?
So I tell people all the time that if NASA redesigned the toilet on the International Space Station, they'd make a patch for it. They make a mission patch for everything. Just like the stamps on the side of the plane. That goes back to World War II, where if you were in the Army Air Corps, this is pre-Air Force, if you were in the Army Air Corps, every bombing mission you went on, you got a patch. You got a patch for that for making it back alive. So they make mission patches for every different. You have all the way from Mercury all the way through Gemini, Apollo, Skylab, Space Shuttle, everything on the ISS. So this is actually what you're looking at is the 5th generation patch that I've done. I made my first one in 2007, and in 2007 with the shuttle van, I toured 15 different cities around the country. So all those cities are all around the perimeter. Usually you have the cruise names around the perimeter of a patch. So yeah, every patch has a story. So usually they have some type of personal reflection from the crew members themselves, or what that mission is supposed to accomplish. But yeah, patches are they're a form of art in their own.
Got it. Yeah. Well, this is definitely a cool patch. I can tell. I know that Creative Accents is very happy to have his patch, Uncle. He's that much is clear. So he was happy to have met Bill and got that patch.
He met Bill and got a patch. Yeah. Yeah. What?
I've got him on suits. I've got him on a bomber jacket. I've got a backpack, which I call my geek bag, that's just covered in different NASA patches. So there's always a place to put a patch.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Uncle, we're getting.
That's very good.
We're nearing the end of the hour. Do you think that we should get to make so we don't miss it? Do shout outs. Do you want to do shout outs?
Okay, I guess first. Go and shout out what you want.
Yeah.
Then me.
So, Bill, this is your chance to shout out to anyone who you think may be listening or anybody that you just respect or just want to say.
Aaron, we have another caller joining late as well.
Oh, we do?
We do. Hold on
well, okay. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Hold that thought and put him on the phone. Let's have him on.
Oh, everybody's yelling. Who's trying to yell in the background on the phone? I'm sorry. Let me straighten it out. Yeah, who's trying to say something?
We'll get back to the shout-outs, I promise.
Yeah, we'll get back to him.
Caller,
go ahead.
Hold on. Let's put people on hold and everything first. We got everybody open lines here. Let's put Jimmy James on hold. And then we have a caller from Minneapolis. You're on the...
Oh, it's music.
Sounds like a boat. That's a boat.
Wow.
Okay, I don't know what was going on there.
What the heck is that?
I think that's what's coming back from one of those missions where we try to search for alien life, and that's the message we got back from somewhere.
Michigan life? Where we at? Yeah? Who's that?
They hung up. I'm checking to see what's going on here. We had two callers. One went away. There was that one. I don't know what's going on here.
What's going on with you, Chuck? Get on these callers and you...
If you start calling in, what am I going to do?
Tell them
to stop.
Interfere and stop. Call in and speak. That's what they tell them.
Like Joe Pesci said in the movie there where he's talking, look, the old guy sitting there with the beard, he's looking at you like, hey, what do you want from me? I'm telling you, I don't know. These guys are calling in. They made noise, okay?
That's a space shuttle Michigan just called.
We're having a discussion or guest, and then you come up and say, there's two people on the guest line. I mean, what's going on?
Hey, I can't control what people do with their phones. People are crazy.
Well, look. With that all out of the way, I'm glad we got to that because now we can circle back around to shout-outs.
Well, we still have... All right, I have Bill on the open line. We got Jimmy James on hold, and I'll let you know if anybody else jumps in, okay?
Yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect. So,
then let us know.
And Uncle, is the procedure, correct me if I'm wrong, when we do shout-outs, do we go to the guest first with their shout-out?
He's learning, people. He's learning. Hooray!
All right, well, I don't know how to pick the NFL games, so I got this right. So, with that in mind, Bill, anybody that you want to shout out to, anybody you think might be listening, anybody you respect, any of that?
Mind is a terrible thing.
Shout out time.
Thank you. Like all the personnel that worked on the shuttle program for 30 years and made it possible and inspired the rest of us to do silly stuff like mine.
Okay, great. Great shout out, Bill. Yeah,
I know.
And thank you for everything. Stay on the line. We're still doing the show, but thank you for being on the show tonight and for putting up with us and everything that entails. We're
absolutely really... shout out. And before he goes, he should give a shout out to himself, his website one more time if people want to look.
Yeah, that too.
Trying to find it real fast, but go ahead. Go give us that website again.
HomemadeSpaceShuttle.org.
HomemadeSpaceShuttle.org. That's one word, and then it's .org, O-R-G. So HomemadeSpaceShuttle.org. There you go.
That's right.
Okay. Sorry, doing my producer job there.
Yeah,
very nice. All right, Bill, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah.
Been an honor.
Another caller.
Yeah. And then let's see here. So, Uncle, let's go to Jimmy with his shout out.
Go ahead, Jimmy. You're up.
Yeah. hold on. After Jimmy, we have another caller, so I'll put Jimmy up first. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, we have another call.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Shout out to the Lions who are going to beat the crap out of the Raiders tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
They're
how
going to be victorious.
I picked them on my pool stick. You better have the points though, sidekick.
I better.
Otherwise, you won't get it.
I might win, Uncle.
If you
even though
may win, if you don't get the points, you said.
You're still saying. I mean, you're saying I'm not doing good, but I'm in almost in the winner circle. So
Yeah, you're there. You're almost there.
You got to get the point, and you got to get the points all at the same time. Okay, you get the point. All right, Jimmy. Is that your only point, Jimmy? Is that it, Jimmy?
Oh, is it?
3 shout-outs?
Shout out.
I must also shout out to... no, that was it.
All righty then. There is the point. That's the way it is. So now we got one more caller on the line, unknown number.
All right, call him and let's who you are, and you're on line with the Uncle
Get the hell
Man.
out of here. Don't you think we should wait here for a while? Nope. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Absolutely not. Get away from there. Catch me later. I'll buy you a beer. Stop! For God's sake! What are you doing?
Are we on those shows again? Sidekick?
Well,
those side things kick? That's what I just heard.
That was a call, Uncle.
That was a caller.
It sounded like the machine we do on Saturdays.
The VHS watch party.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Sound like.
It sounded like a VHS tape. It did. It's true.
It
did.
True.
It sounded, so
I don't have a working VHS. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying that's what it sounded like.
It did.
Because we listened to them on Saturday.
Okay. William.
Carson.
Nobody's speaking though.
What was?
You broke up. Yeah, you got to hang on. He gets knocked off really easy sound wise. Bill, we didn't hear you. Go ahead.
If you don't have a VHS, how are you going to watch all those Carson tapes?
Hey, there you go.
Well,
I don't have.
No, he doesn't watch them. We
do.
We have them. We watch them on Saturday.
Saturdays.
We have them.
We did yesterday.
We did. Saturday, yeah. We did them Saturday. I'm getting confused at the day, man.
Oh, yeah. VCR is, it's
the
like brand new.
It's a VCR standing here on top of a lamp, and we've got it on the desk.
It's balanced just perfectly.
Yeah.
You should see it.
That sidekick set up here. And so we...
You gotta have that set up to see the monkey poop on Johnny's shoulder.
Hey, look,
it's
almost complicated as the shuttle you got balanced on your Mini Cooper there, right? I mean, that's the type of technicality we got here with this VHS contraption, right?
It's technical wizardry that I will. I'm gonna make a patch for that. The VCR patch. I'm gonna put that every time that the VCR works and the connection works on the live stream. I'm gonna make a little patch. I'm gonna put it on a jacket. How about that, NASA?
That sounds better. That sounds interesting because every time we're playing with these wires and we get disturbed, trying to look at the picture and hear the man talk or whoever's talking.
Easier said than done.
I mean, it's crazy.
You just reminded me. I got 2 emails this week from people who said that they would want a Uncle patch for their jackets, and I have no idea why. They want a circular Uncle logo patch for their jackets.
Okay, well, all right.
We've got some of them.
We'll see. We might oblige them.
Might be able to get those made for you, like real cheap and short runs, if you want them.
We'll see.
Okay.
I've got a maker for you.
You do?
Nice.
So I'll send that to you by.
There you go.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate that. And with that, this is, I'll just say UncleThePodcast.com. That's our website. @UnclePodcast, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
YouTube.
This is the end of the show. But Bill, anything else you want to, you're the guest, anything else you want to say before we head out for the night?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on board, guys. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you, man. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, this
interesting.
was the Uncle Show. And Uncle, what else from you before we bring it on home for the night?
Glad to have 2 people online and our guest, and Jimmy online tonight.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yep,
And
so,
this was a lot of fun, right, Uncle?
yeah, this was interesting tonight, and better this way than last. Let's put it that way.
Note
Yeah,
taken.
last week was okay, but look, this was a lot of fun. And,
I know.
Appreciate it, and I just want to remind listeners that it is a very good time, and I would be happy to even have some coffee money tonight. So if
Coffee
anybody
money.
chip in, Chelly.com, it is much appreciated because having a tooth extracted earlier this week definitely put a dent in my funds. So yeah, you'd be buying coffee.
So you were in the dentist side.
Yes. Producer.
Yes.
Producer, you were in the dentist. Ooh,
Yes, I had
boy.
to have it pulled. Yeah, I had to have a tooth pulled, which sucked. But anyway, it is what it is, and I appreciate you guys. And you're not going to get unique radio like this anywhere else. This is no other show is like the Uncle Podcast, Uncle the Podcast, or Uncle the Broadcast.
Oh, another question for if Bill's still on the line.
Okay, one last question. If he's
If you want to come back to me on the line, I have a special New Year's Revolution show.
Ah, yes.
I forgot to mention.
I forgot too.
And if you're welcome to call in when the New Year's come.
Special show.
Special show. But it'll be only my show. Won't be
Yes,
his. He's out.
Hours. It'll be 4 hours at least of
4
Uncle
hours.
Broadcast for the New Year's Revolution. We wish every time zone in America Happy New Year throughout the broadcast, and we do a 4-hour marathon. And we love it if former guests, especially, or anybody drops in to say, "Oh, tell us what's going on, plug your stuff again, anything you want. Come on the Uncle Revolution show and have a good time." How about that, Bill? There's a invitation for you.
Yeah.
I might be doing something that night. We'll see.
Well,
Well,
that's if you have time.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I'm
Sounds
not
good.
pushing it to say you're going to come on out.
If you want to drop in for 5
Drop
minutes,
in at
just,
5, 2, 5, depending where you want.
yeah, if I'm having a good time, I'm out doing this, I'm doing that. Hey, I want to wish you guys a happy New Year. Goodbye. That's it, Bill.
That's
Nope.
all I can say.
We're happy with that too. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it, Uncle.
There you go.
Time to bring it home, man.
There's our show. 314th episode is history. Bye-bye. Gotta talk to him tonight.